Hello students, hope you're doing fine at home. Today we are here to learn about globe and maps. Okay, so the name of the lesson is how the globe and maps help us. Okay, so we'll first try and understand what a globe is. Have you seen a globe in school? Yes, it's a globe. It's a round ball which depicts different continents, different countries on it, okay, which is used, your teacher must have shown you, and if you wish to see it again, I can show you quickly. So this is how the globe looks like, right? Now, for long people believed the earth to be flat, but later scientists proved that the earth is spherical, slightly flattened at the poles. The particular shape of earth is called geoid. So geoid, the word geoid means the spherical shape of earth slightly flattened at the poles. So the poles of the earth are North Pole and South Pole, okay? Photographs taken from the space have confirmed the spherical shape of earth. Since photographs are two-dimensional only, they cannot provide the realistic view of earth. The shape of earth can be better represented by a globe, which is a true replica or a model of the earth. It correctly shows the poles, latitudes, longitudes, oceans and continents, etc. because it gives the three-dimensional view of earth. Alright, so whenever we see a photo, it's normally a two-dimensional photo. We cannot figure out the earth is round in it. So a globe gives you a clear picture because it's a replica, it's a small model of the earth. Okay, now when we see a globe, we see, what do we see? We see name of the countries, name of the continent, name of the oceans, right? But the globe being a very small ball like structure, right, it's more or less like a football, okay, there are many limitations to it. Okay, let's study them. Disadvantages or limitations of the globe. Though the globe gives us the correct picture of the earth, yet it has certain disadvantages or limitations. It is not easy to carry the globe everywhere, although nowadays folded globes are also available, which are more handy than earlier ones. Moreover, the globe cannot provide us specific information about a small place, area, district or a state. In spite of all the limitations, globe has many advantages also. It can be easily rotated, just as the earth rotates on its axis. We can easily understand the change of season on earth. Distance, direction and exact shape of continents and oceans, etc. are best represented on the globe. Okay, so the globe has its own limitations and advantages and disadvantages. So certain things can be clearly seen, like big oceans. We can see it on a small piece of information by just a name on the globe. We can also see how big the sea is, and it can easily be used to understand how the earth moves. Okay, now coming on to the next topic, maps. So what are maps? Yes, maps are two-dimensional pictures of the earth. I'll quickly show you an example of map. Here are a few examples of how a map looks like. Okay, so first you can see the ancient Babylonian map, and then below it you can see an Eskimo map, a British Admiral map. These are very old forms of maps, very old. Okay, so a map is a two-dimensional picture of the earth's surface or a part of it on a flattened surface according to the scale. Maps have been in use since the early civilizations. The Babylonians were perhaps the first to prepare a map on a clay tablet as early as 2300 BC. So it was almost 2300 years back where the Babylonians used to create a map on a clay tablet. Ancient people employed for different techniques to prepare map. For example, The Eskimos of Greenland used to cut coastal island in dark colored animal skin. Ancient Egyptians used to engrave maps on metal plates. The inhabitants of Pacific Island used to make planes by knotting reeds. However, all these maps lacked authenticity. The first ever map of the world was prepared by Greek scholar Anaximander in 1611 to 541 BC. However, making a map on a scientific line began with the world map drawn by Claudius Ptolemy, an Egyptian geographer who lived in the 2nd century BC. Gradually, cartology, which is the science of making map, developed on scientific lines. So what is cartography? Cartography means the science of making a map. Now there are certain important things to be kept into mind when we are making a map, right? So they are also called as essentials. Essentials means very necessary things that are required on a good map. So distance, direction and symbols are the three essentials of making a map. These features of a map are known as the language of map, because with the help of these features we can easily study and interpret a map. Okay? Interpret means you can understand. So the first is distance. We know that the distance on the earth are very great. We cannot depict the actual distance on a map drawn on limited sheet of paper. To overcome this difficulty, we need to proportionally reduce distances of the ground while depicting them on the paper. This can easily be done with the help of a scale. Scale is an important device to depict the reduced distance on paper. Scale is a ratio of proportion between actual distance between 2 points on ground and at the same distance shown on the map. There are two principal methods of showing the scale on map. So there are two different principal methods. Now we'll see what the methods are. First is statement method, second is graphical method. So what does statement method means? In this method, the distance between 2 points on the ground and the same distance on the map is shown by a statement. Statement, you write something. Okay. For example, if the distance between your home and your school is 10 kilometers, say for instance you stay in city and the school is like 10 kilometers away from your home, right? So you'll have to write a statement which will clearly give you how long is your school, how long is the distance. So if the school is 10 kilometers away, the scale on the map, right, you can show this distance by you can show this 10 kilometers of distance on map by 1 centimeter, right? So the scale of the map will be 1 centimeter is equal to 10 kilometers. So it's a statement that we have written. For every 10 kilometers 1 centimeter will suffice for it. Okay. For example, if the school is 10 kilometers, so it's 1 centimeter on the map. Okay. If the railway station or a bus stand is 20 kilometers away from your house, then it will be 2 centimeters. Okay. Second, we come to the graphical method. When a scale is shown on a map by a line divided into smaller parts, it is called the graphical scale or the linear scale. I can quickly show you how the scale looks like. So here you can see the orange big line is in kilometers and the above things are written in small digits. So this is a graphical linear scale example. On the basis of the scale, a map may be large scale map or a small scale map. When a map shows larger areas such as continents or countries on a small scale, we call it a small scale map. On the other hand, when we show small areas such as a city or a town or a village on a larger scale, it is called as a large scale map. Thus, the map of India or Asia is a small scale map, while the map of your town or village is a large scale map. Next essential of a map is direction. Direction is also an essential feature of the map. There are four principal directions: north, south, east and west. These are called cardinal points. So there are four cardinal points: north, south, east and west. Once the main direction is known, others can easily be identified. In a map, only the north direction is shown with an arrow near the top towards the right. The top of the arrow is marked with the letter N, which denotes north. This is also called north line. An instrument called compass is used to find the main direction. Compass was invented by the Chinese. So I'll quickly show you how a compass looks like and how the directions are written. Here's a quick example of how the directions are written, and the brown color image is the example of a compass. Now coming to the third essential of a map. On a map, it is not possible to show various features as existing on the ground. In a given area, there may be several physical features such as hill, river, or cultural features like buildings, roads, railway lines, parks, etc. Therefore, specific signs or symbols are used to represent these features on map. The use of symbol saves space. Such symbols are known as conventional symbols. There is a general agreement all over the world regarding the use of such symbols. These symbols are commonly used in the topographic maps. Besides symbols, colors are also used to show certain landforms and other physical features. For example, all water bodies like the ocean, sea, lake, river, etc. are shown in blue color, while landforms like plain are shown in green, plateaus in yellow, mountains in brown, and ice-capped areas in white color. So let me quickly give you a gist of how there are different kind of symbols used on different maps. So you can see a big list of how roads look like, of how the bridge look like, trees, swampy ground, of how a church or a mosque will look like, or a temple will look like, how a railway station would look like. This is how there are different symbols used to depict different things on a map. With the help of symbols, basic information about a place or an area is easily obtained, even if one does not understand the local language. Such maps facilitate you to have prior information of an unknown area that you would like to visit. Tourists especially benefit from such maps. We'll now quickly study a few types of maps. Maps can be classified on several bases. As mentioned earlier, on the basis of the scale, there may be small scale or large scale maps. On the basis of specific information, there may be physical map, soil map, vegetation map, political map, population map, road map, and so on. Such map represent certain topic or theme and therefore are called as thematic maps. Okay? Maps are also used to explain historical events such as important voyage, a war, spread of civilization, or the extent of kingdom. Such maps are called historical maps. There has been a great advancement in the techniques of map making. Nowadays, maps are made using computer. Such maps are very sharp, attractive, accurate. The comparison between an ancient map and modern map clearly shows an improvement in the quality of maps being produced nowadays. This has been possible due to improved technology only. Now we can quickly see how there are different types of maps and what are the things mentioned so that we understand what is which area. So here we have an example of thematic map. Two maps, first map land use and the other one natural vegetation. Both are maps of India, but they serve different purpose. First is defining the use of land. Second is giving us an information regarding the green vegetation spread out in India. Okay. Now we would try and understand how technology plays an important role in today's map making. Okay. First is aerial photograph and satellite image. What are these? Okay. In the later part of the 20th century, major scientific advancements have been made in map making. The surface of land and oceans is photographed by cameras mounted on aircrafts. So you have an airplane or a jet plane where you have camera placed into it. So the plane flies over that area taking pictures. Okay. So the aircraft flies between heights of 500 to 6,000 meters above the ground and takes pictures of the earth. These pictures are called aerial photographs. So the word aerial means in air. Okay, in air. So the plane is flying in the air, and when it's flying in the air, it's also taking pictures with its camera. From these photographs, excellent maps are made. Satellites mounted with cameras also take pictures of the earth from a greater distance in space. These pictures are called satellite images. They are also used widely in the country. So our satellites, whatever mankind has sent in the space, are also having cameras. The camera quality is amazing and they are able to click pictures. We will now quickly see the examples of aerial and satellite images. So you can see an aerial photograph wherein you can see certain amount of trees, road, small cars, and then you can see the terrace of certain buildings. So these are best examples of an aerial photograph. Now the greenish and the bluish image that you can see is a satellite image of the river Nile Delta. Okay. Moving ahead, we will now try and understand what a plan is. Okay. A plan is an outline drawing of a building, area or a room. It depicts all the details minutely. A plan is like a map, is drawn true to scale and direction, but it differs from a map significantly. A map shows important features of an area, while a plan shows the detailed layout of a building and spaces. In case of a plan of a classroom, the arrangement of desks and benches, teacher's table, blackboard, cupboards, windows, doors, etc. has to be shown. The scale of such plan is usually large. Example, 1 centimeter is equal to 1 meter. Unlike sketches, plans are very accurate. It also shows the correct distance between places. So we'll quickly see an example of how a plan looks like. So here you can see an example of a plan of a house. Okay, where you can see the garden is, where you can see the veranda is, the living area is, you can see different bedrooms, the red and the blue bedroom, where the kitchen is, where the store is, right? So this is called a plan of a building or a house that is to be constructed. Sketch. A sketch is a rough drawing on a large scale showing a small area in greater details. A sketch does not have a scale, title, index or direction. It simply shows the relative location of a few selected features not drawn to scale. So a sketch is a raw drawing, not up to the scale. It does not have a scale to it. Sketches prove very handy in locating places. You can help your friend by drawing a sketch of your locality and its roads. If he wants to come to your house, you may tell him important landmarks to your house. Okay, we'll quickly see an example of how the sketch looks like. So this is an example of the sketch. So if you're asking your friend to visit a proper place, you'll have to write down what the road looks like, what are the major landmarks. Landmarks like, is there a school nearby, or is there a temple nearby, or is there a church nearby, okay, or is there a medical store, or is there a hospital or a school nearby a place, okay, and where you need to meet, you can figure that out. So this is a rough drawing and just called as a sketch. So dear students, we have completed the lesson. Hope you understood it. Thank you.